Hello traders, this is Rich Derrick from TradeSight. This is a look at the market leading stocks via our scans for this coming session. This is going to be for Thursday, March 21st, 2013. We had kind of a mixed session today where we had a big gap up and then the market really couldn't do much with it. What that left us with is kind of a mishmash of signals here, but let's take a look at what we have here. We had some pretty good weakness in Apple today. We do have a CPS sell signal. Apple was down about $2.50 on the day. So we do have a continuation pressure signal to the downside in Apple. It was on fairly light volume though. A lot of volume in Adobe, and we have a camouflage sell signal in there that did close below the open by a good 0.5%. So definitely keep an eye on that, especially with the post-market news here with Oracle affecting things and gapping down so sharply. Had a volume bump in eBay. eBay does have a CPS signal to the upside. It closed 1.5% above the open. Definitely one of the stronger names on the day. First Solar had a strong session too on okay volume, 5% above the open, but it left itself with a differential sell signal because it pulled back a little bit too far off of the high. BlackBerry again still in motion here, pun intended there. This is no longer research in motion, but BlackBerry, good volume again. 171% of its typical volume, but with a differential sell signal on the chart. Sina also had a big day, 3.5% above today's open, but it was on uninspiring volume. The financials definitely on balance here, better to buy. We've got differential buy signals in quite a few names. The one missing ingredient is this is all on fairly light volume. Visa was the only one that traded above typical volume. That was really notable, and with the Visa there's unfortunately no signal. Energy names, kind of a mixed bag here, a couple of buys and a couple of sells. CHK had a pretty strong day, closing well above the open, and we do have a camouflage buy signal closing above the open. Schlumberger still in motion. We got a differential buy signal in the slob, trading 150% of its typical volume. So definitely keep an eye on that again tomorrow. Those stocks remain in play. The generals a little bit better for sale here, as you can see. We've got a couple of different sell signals here. We've got a couple of differentials. We have a couple of CPSs. The CAT was pretty weak today. CAT, Caterpillar, and it traded good volume. So keep an eye on that. Deere, very similar company. Twice as typical volume and about 2% below the open on the close. So definitely keep an eye on those two for follow through to the downside tomorrow. HPQ had a very, very weak close, closing well below the VWAP, 2.5% below the VWAP. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be moving in sympathy with the Oracle, I would think. On the buy side, we had the defensive kind of minded. Walmart was the only thing with the CPS buy signal, so the state of the generals. As far as the housing names go, Toll Brothers had a very strong session, 3.75% above the open on decent volume, and we have a CPS signal to the buy side, so definitely keep an eye on that. FedEx wasn't very well received with the earnings. We've got a CPS sell signal in place, traded huge volume today, so definitely keep that on the radar. Also UPS kind of in the same space as FedEx, so that could have a sympathy move as well, so keep an eye on that. And commodities, nothing really here as far as signals. We've got a differential buy signal in ABX. Definitely keep an eye on that just because these stocks have been down and out. Could be worthwhile tracking. And U.S. Steel Letter X traded above average volume and had a fairly poor close. It was okay versus the VWAP, but almost 1% below the open, which is never really good for the chart. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today. As always, thanks for listening. And this has been Rich Derrick for TradeSight. Hope to see you again soon.